Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dear students, today we are going to discuss reflexive and emphatic pronouns. These also confuse a lot of students, so let's see what's the difference between the two. Now let's first of all see how the reflexive pronouns look like. In the singular form, they take these forms: myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself. So you can see that in the singular form, all of them end in self. In the plural form, they end in selves instead, like ourselves, yourselves, and themselves. Now, I have over the years come across many students using ourself instead of ourselves and themself instead of themselves. So please avoid that mistake. When it's plural, it should be selves at the end and not self. Now, we use reflexive pronouns as objects of verbs or objects of prepositions. It means when they're used in a sentence, only then we can decide whether they're reflexive or emphatic pronouns. In a sentence, they are used as either the objects of a verb or the objects of a preposition. Let's have some examples. He helped himself to the cakes. Now, himself is the object of the verb helped here. He helped whom? He helped himself. So it is the object of the verb. That is why it's a reflexive pronoun. I saw myself in the mirror, and myself again is the object of the verb saw. I saw whom? I saw myself in the mirror. And be careful or you will hurt yourself. Yourself is the object of the verb will hurt. You will hurt whom? You will hurt yourself. So it is reflexive. It's a reflexive pronoun. The kitten can now feed itself. The kitten can now feed whom? Feed itself. So itself is the object of the verb feed, and that is why it's a reflexive pronoun. Some people are always talking about themselves. Now here the verb is talking, but talking is an intransitive verb. It doesn't have any object. Themselves is the object of the preposition about. Some people are always talking about whom? They're talking about themselves. So themselves is the object of the preposition in this case, and because it is the object of the preposition, it is a reflexive pronoun. The emphatic pronouns look like reflexive pronouns, but they behave differently. Now look at this sentence. I was told by the teacher himself. Now himself, the look is the same. Apparently it looks like a reflexive pronoun, but it is not a reflexive pronoun here. An emphatic pronoun is only used for emphasis. There is no other purpose. It is not essential to the structure of the sentence. And that means that even if you remove it from the sentence, take it out of the sentence would still be complete. For example, if you remove himself from this sentence, the sentence would be, I was told by the teacher, which is still a complete and meaningful sentence. You can't take out or remove the reflexive pronoun from a sentence. The sentence would not be complete without it. I myself saw him do it. Again, myself is not necessary to the structure of the sentence and the meaning of the sentence. It only adds emphasis, that's all. So I saw him do it would be enough even if you remove myself. So you can see that emphatic pronouns are either used after the subject, as in the second sentence. Myself is used after the subject I. This is one place that it goes to. And as it is in the first sentence, it can also go at the end of the sentence. Sometimes some of the students confuse the one at the end of the sentence with a reflexive pronoun. They think that the one that is used in the beginning after the subject is it's an emphatic pronoun, but the one used at the end is a reflexive pronoun, which is not true. You have to see the function of the pronoun in that, And you can also check it very easily by removing it from the sentence. If the sentence stands by itself without it, it is an emphatic pronoun, otherwise a reflexive pronoun. He himself said so. Again, you can see the same thing. Himself can be removed from the sentence and still the sentence would be complete. I will do it myself. Again, without myself, the sentence would still be complete. I will do it. The town itself is not very large. Itself, again, is the emphatic pronoun because it can be removed from the sentence and the sentence would still be complete. The town is not very large. Now let's see whether we can recognize by the function that they're performing in the sentence their reflexive and emphatic pronouns or not. Look at this first sentence. What is it? They've got themselves into a mess. What is themselves in this sentence? The first thing, easy way to do it, just remove themselves from the sentence and the sentence would be they've got into a mess. Like in got is a transitive verb. It needs an object after that. So it would not be feasible to have the sentence without themselves. So the other thing is that they have got whom into a mess. Themselves is the object of the verb have got. They have got themselves into a mess. So it is the object. That's why it's a reflexive pronoun. I myself heard the remark. Well, it's easy to understand, I hope. When it is used after the subject, it's always the emphatic pronoun. It can be removed from the sentence also. I heard the remark, for example, would be still a complete sentence. We often deceive ourselves. We often deceive whom? Ourselves. If we just say we often deceive, the sentence would not be complete. So ourselves is the object of the verb. It is a reflexive pronoun. Did you make it yourself? Again, what about that? Did you make it? Did you make what? The object of make is it. Yourself is only for emphasis. It is not necessary. Did you make it would be enough. So we can remove it and the sentence would still be complete. It's emphatic. The prince himself danced with Cinderella. So himself, again, because it is used after the subject, it can be removed from the sentence also. It is an emphatic pronoun. We saw the Prime Minister himself. Now himself refers to the Prime Minister definitely. Again, himself can be removed. We saw the Prime Minister. So himself is not the object of the verb. The object of the verb is the Prime Minister. Himself is only for emphasis. And the prisoner hanged himself. The prisoner hanged whom? So the object of hanged is himself. Therefore, it is a reflexive pronoun. He's landed himself in difficulties. He has landed whom in difficulties? He has landed himself in difficulties. So himself is the object of landed, and it cannot be removed from the sentence. We will see to it ourselves. Ourselves is only for emphasis again. It is not the object of the verb, which is see. So it is an emphatic pronoun. It can be removed. We will see to it. Ourselves may or may not be used. They themselves admitted their guilt. Again, themselves is just after the subject, so it must be the emphatic pronoun. So yes, it is the emphatic pronoun. They themselves admitted their guilt. Or without it, they admitted their guilt. I hope you understood the concept of the reflexive and emphatic pronouns, and you will be able to differentiate between them. Thank you very much.